Welcome to Optimize My Life, the ultimate radio show where we unlock the secrets to living our best lives. Now, before we dive into this exciting journey of self-improvement and empowerment, I want to take a moment to thank our incredible sponsor, the Hope Collection, for making this show possible. Their unwavering commitment to spreading hope and positivity in our lives is truly remarkable. We believe in the power of interaction, so we want you to be a part of this incredible journey. Call in, write to us, or connect on social media. We'd love to hear your questions, experiences, and challenges. Together, we'll create a thriving community of like-minded individuals, supporting each other to thrive and shine.
Happy New Day, Jugs. Happy New Day. Happy Thursday. What else are we? Happy fourth quarter. Happy fourth quarter. We're here. We've made it. And it's going to be a time. I am currently getting ready to film and record some content today, so shout out to me for showing up for me. Hey, Mary, how's it going? Welcome. Happy Thursday. What's new? What is? What ain't? You say you're still going?
I've been doing. I started new classes, and so I have been doing them Australian time, so I am pulling double shifts.
Understood. Sounds like a chore. Sounds like a task. Well, it sounds like you got a little bit of the sniffles.
Oh, I got the head cold from hell.
Oh, no. Well, per your sponsors, you may need to drink a juice called Rona Killer. The ingredients are pineapple, orange, turmeric, ginger, lemon. Pretty awesome. Pretty good. Well, I like to start with a story. I got a story for y'all. So, a couple of days ago, I made a decision to make sure Gage can have all the resources that he may need to utilize. They're right there. They're right there for him. He can get to them. So I put him in after-school program. And in this after-school program, they do STEM. They do cooking classes. They do music classes. They do art. And he has really been enjoying the after-school situation. Now, there are areas that need improvement academically. And I made a decision to put him in the tutoring. But the tutoring starts at 6:30 in the morning. And he said, Gage is very bright and he is catching on and he's doing very well. Don't overdo it, Mom. And as parents and caregivers, we sometimes overdo it. And we think we're doing a good job, but sometimes less is more. I didn't want to, have him be behind and not able to do certain things. And so I made sure that I talked about it with him before. I'm like, all right, we got tutoring. And he was just like, okay, we got tutoring. And he gets up and he gets ready. So apparently he likes the tutoring, and apparently tutoring is working. So my question for you guys today is, when something is working, do you change the routine and do you alter it? And in integration, what does that look like, and what tactics are we to use?
Okay. Well, before I can answer that, I need more context than just this is working. We need one
working the work.
Is, why do you want to change it?
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to change it because it is at 6:30 in the morning. Hello, I'm so pedicure. Mm-hmm. Polish. Oh yeah. Okay, sorry, y'all. You know, multitasking and kindness. What I'm saying is, when it comes to things that you're trying to do, and I said less is more. If I'm trying to put him in a space to set him up for success, should I do it at his own term, or should I just continue to make these things and continue to put him in these, you know what I'm saying? Like, because his counselor said less is more. He's like, you got him in after school, you have him in tutoring, you work with him at home. He's got an ABA. Well, we're going to get into the ABA therapist. But he has a speech therapist, OT. So we're getting into the ABA, and I'm just trying to make sure, am I doing too much? Is he benefiting from all the service, or should I lessen it? Or even though tutoring is at 6:30 in the morning, is that too much for him? Like, you know, all the things that other parents go through, just trying to see what fit best for him, or what is working. Or so I guess the question would be, do parents who do the most, are they doing to, you know, those children that they grow up and they're going to be successful because their parents did those things. But then if they kind of less is more, you allow the child a little bit more freedom, and then they'll still grow, and maybe still grow and be successful, but is one kind of greater than the other? Is like, because I put the pressure on him, because I put him in the program, is he going to be successful throughout because of those things? I look at like the Asian culture. Like, they're pretty disciplined kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the wording is different. So, for instance, you're saying as a parent doing more. Mm-hmm. And you're looking at the Asian culture. That's two different things. So when you're looking at it as a parent doing more, are you doing it for him, or is he doing it himself? Because the big difference is that parents, and this is the hardest thing any parent has to learn to do, is take a step back. The services and all the other things are tools. That's not doing it for him. It is literally enabling him. Are you doing everything for him so he cannot do independent thinking? Can he do things for himself? Is he think for himself? Can he problem solve for himself? That's the first question I'm going to ask you.
It's just regular polish. Yeah. I suppose. I said I suppose I can see the difference. But what I'm saying, as far as the discipline, because you know, a lot of times our children may not want to do things, and we know that in this situation this is best, but they're just like, you know, they don't want to do it. But if you keep making them do it, I guess it's versus like a making them and having a willingness, and how in your parenting style. I guess that would be the determination on that.
Okay, so then my next question for you is, does he need, for him to succeed in school, does he need all the extra services and tutoring? Does he need help in those classes to succeed in those classes?
I feel yes, because he is still not on the level not quite sixth grade level of things, and independent learning, not like creative writing. He may have a thought and he may have it, but it's just his writing. He leaves out, conjunction words and things. So I'm like, okay, let me get him some type of tutoring in the reading. And then I'm like, okay, well, if I get in reading, surely I get it in math. Okay, if I get it in math, those are the two, like the basics, so he should be able to navigate through the rest. Or am I supposed to be the tutor for all subjects? You know what I mean?
Okay, well, you're overanalyzing. Okay.
Okay.
Now, when you say he's not at the level he should be, is that through testing? Or is it just what you see as where he's at? Because you said he forgets conjunctions. He forgets things when he writes. Those are two different problems. Because, for instance, a lot of smart kids struggle in elementary school because of, one, their brains operate faster than they can write or do. So they'll forget words, or their brains operate in a different level. So, like, they will read what's supposed to be there and not what's actually there. Like, they'll skip words to get through it faster. They're like kind of like speed reading.
All right. Now, because you say I overanalyze, I do. So here's the next steps that I took. So this past weekend, I taught 3 yoga classes to autistic children. And then, it was wonderful. I had 3 of them, 3 sessions. I had about 5 children in each session. And in each session, I had I had maybe 3 participate, 1 lay there, and 1 was just, okay, hurry up. Like, all right, whatever. And 1 nonverbal. The fact that they take, through that, they learn, like, cues, even social cues, just through yoga and being in space and watching everybody else. So I got inspired. One of the children, he was into it, but he wasn't into it, and he was just like, oh, okay. Now, pause, insert story. I teach yoga at a mental health facility, so I see a lot of the same things, but from children to adults, just FYI. And so I went to the parent and was like, oh, you're doing a wonderful job, because one parent had to be with her son the entire time. He was a runner, nonverbal, and he was kind of aggressive, but his mom could handle it. And so in the midst of those things, I went to the parent, and, when they make it to the water, because I had the first part of the program. It's the center. First off, you look it up wherever you are, and if you're in Atlanta, it's a wonderful program to get your children in with superpowers. It's adaptive aquatics classes, and the program is sensory H2O, and it teaches hand-eye coordination and then swimming and water safety. And it's a really good program. And, if drowning can be very, something massive to deal with. And a lot of times our children drown because they're not, aware of what to do once they get into the water, and they kind of fight against it and things like that. So this is a great program. This is a really great program. But anyway, sensory H2O, and I teach the yoga part of it before they actually are introduced into the water. And I go up to the caregiver, and I said, your son is amazing. He's done a great job. Like, did you have an ABA therapist? And Alfred, he goes, oh, that's not my son. That's actually my client. I am an ABA therapist, literally. He's like, I got a certification, and I've been with this child for 5 years. And his parents take me everywhere, with them. Even when they travel international, they take him with him, so he'll have this constant support. And that, I think, that is where all of that came from in the first half, because I do overanalyze, and I want Gage to be great, as any mom would want their child to be great. And it becomes, like, if I can't get to these resources, then let me educate myself and become the resource. A lot what you have done within your community and just in your home. Your children are homeschooled. You've gotten, I think you at this point got over 80 certifications to be able to qualify to do all the things. That's insane. But you have it. Now, was that overachieving, or did you do that for understanding so you can better help your children? So for me, and I guess that other question would house me putting him in all the things at school. If I educate myself and I just do these practices always and at home, and once it gets to school, it's just kind of reiterated. Iterated. My bad. Reiterated. Iterated. I can't even say that. Can't even talk this morning. But yeah, makes sense.
It does, but you're comparing. Okay, so you're comparing a person who, and this may came out wrong, but instead of learning how to deal with their child, they subcontracted out and hire basically an overqualified nanny to babysit their child 24/7.
No, he navigates him. They go on outings, and he helps them navigate. Like, I watched him in real time. He's an ABA therapist, and like the parents, maybe I don't know the situation. Maybe they work. Maybe they're, want to give him the best care. So I don't think it's a thing like that. I actually think it's a good thing that he has the constant support. It got my wheels rolling.
All right. Well, okay. So here's the flip side to that. So if you have, if that child always has that constant support with them, every time something happens, there's someone there to walk him through the paces. How is he going to learn to adapt on his own and be able to self-suffice himself? And this is the biggest mistake a lot of people make with these children, is they believe they need constant work. They need constant someone there to guide them through everything. And this is with any child. If you have somebody there for them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, how does that child learn independence? How does that child learn to deal with the problems of society on their own if there's always someone there to crutch and hold them up?
Well, I think to a certain age, sure, but 11, they shouldn't deal with society. They're just trying to learn how to navigate in a world that they're, looked at as, handicapped or,
But you're looking at them like they're handicapped. Those are your exact words. Now look back to where you were at 11 years old. What were you doing at 11 years old?
I don't know. My childhood was a little dark. You may want to answer that question yourself.
Everyone's childhood was dark. But, it used to be at 10, 11, 12 years old, you were babysitting other kids. What we are doing with our children, which is a big problem now, because we're finding this out with the millennial generation, is that we are coddling, we are babying, we are doing everything for our children. We have the biggest misconception is that we as parents think it's our job, our responsibility to ensure our children are happy. We're not, and you're comparing this to the Asian culture because that's what you said. And I'm not saying anything against you, but
you seem to be the more disciplined, put together group of people. And this is coming from a black and brown person that every other culture is together.
But the thing is that they teach their children responsibilities. They teach their children different things that we don't. We coddle our kids. We baby our kids. We make sure they're happy. We don't give them the tools to teach them to be happy, that they need to be happy from internal to external. We do everything, and a lot of parents and a lot of clients I work with, this is the biggest problem, is that we do way too much for our kids in the sense that we don't give them the room to grow. And especially the minute our child has a label, we do so much more than we need to and should do, that we're not giving them that room to adapt and grow. And at 11 years old, you're walking the teenage line. You know, it's like our expectations of what they should be doing is drastically lowered because of that label. And that label is what is holding, it doesn't hold our kids back. We use the label to hold our kids back. We're not teaching perseverance. We're not teaching adaptation. We're not teaching internal gratification. We're
doing it for them.
We're doing everything for them.
And think that we're showing them what to do. But it's a difference between showing and doing. That's what Mama said, do as I say and not as I do.
You know, when, you know, my kids were little, they were like 5 and 6, they were making food for themselves. They were hungry. They went in the fridge. They went and got pizza or whatever. They threw it in the pizza oven. They threw it in the microwave, whatever. They went and made soup on the stove or whatever. And the social workers would look at them like, oh, my God, they can do that. And it blew my mind. I didn't understand. I go, yeah, they're hungry. I make 3 meals a day. They have alternatives to eat for snacks throughout the day if they're hungry. Don't all kids do that? And they go, no, most kids don't know how to do this because parents do it all for them. It's also a big reason why so many kids struggle once they get out of the house and go into the real world, because parents become helicopter parents and they pave the way.
Chở em á hả? Thôi, cà phê nhà có rồi trời.
You know, it's
Thôi em.
and that's the biggest thing with the Asian cultures. They raise self-sufficient children. You see these kids at a very young age doing dishes, doing things, because you're expected when you're big enough to do things. It's the way we used to be as a country too. I mean, you know, watch Little House on the Prairie or different shows from that period. You know, everybody helped. Everybody did things.
Không như thế.
It's the same concept.
Okay.
Makes sense. I guess just now that I was thinking, you know, taking a certification may help me help my kids. That's where, at the end of the day, y'all right there?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm just miserable.
I'm here. Yeah.
But, you know, that's just where education is power, if you allow it to be a power.
Mhm.
You know, the more you know, it can be a great tool, but it can also hold you back a little bit because you know too much. And so it is a fine line you walk between, you know, listening to alternatives and knowing. I've got a bunch of certifications because I chose not to get a degree in psychology, because there's only a small little part of the course of psychology that actually teaches neurodiversity. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many other
felt
certifications.
Like it was a waste.
Yeah. You know, I decided to study neurobiology and neuropsychology instead, to understand how the brain operates, and learning different things about autism and NLP, timeline therapy, coaching, cognitive psychology. So many different avenues to learn how to help kids and parents based on your wiring of your brain, and learning how reframing and different avenues of doing things to change the system. The first thing is for like Gage, for instance, is to figure out how he learns. Is he a visual? Is he an auditory? Is he auditory digital, which means does he internalize his thinking? Once we figure out exactly his learning patterns and how he learns, that is the key to teaching him so that he learns. Because you learn to what he's good at and how he's good at. And that's the biggest tool. You use your strengths to overcome your weaknesses. But the thing is if he doesn't whine about getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to class and tutoring, that's completely normal. What average child would whine about getting up in the morning to go to school?
Yeah. I mean, he does it. He doesn't complain about it. That's why I try to make him go to bed earlier, but, that's a struggle within itself.
But, what kid goes to bed early without...
Without lip.
Right. Unless they're absolutely exhausted.
Now, last week we were talking about inclusion, and this week we were going to finish that topic. I just had those things on my mind when it came to inclusion in those realms.
Remind me what we were talking about last week.
That's what I hope you was doing. And now this is a clear-cut case where I've learned to sit down, but now I have to be still and plan the things. I just have to plan the things. Definitely, it was inclusion, and I'm trying to go back and see my notes. I like to take notes on these things, Mary, because I tell you, every single time, I learn from our own shows. Every time. And I don't have that notebook. But to move it forward.
Let's talk about accessibility in education. At home and at school.
Well, since we're already there, as far as the inclusion of the two go, I'm still thinking about that ABA. I think it should be in school as well. And I'm going to a meeting to see if this is something that we could all collectively come together, all the parents who feel that this is a great opportunity to better assist them. Because the children, like at Gage's school, we have.
So how is ABA therapy going to assist and make them better?
So when they go on to trips, all right, so this is the newest development. Gage has been invited because the whole 6th grade is going to Rock Eagle. They leave out at like 6 a.m. Monday morning. They get to the camp. They actually spend one night at the camp. They get up about 8, do breakfast, do all the things, and then they go on a hike and they do some other things. And they do all the educational stuff, field exercises. And then they're going to get on the bus and come back home. They should be back home Tuesday, 6 p.m.
Okay.
Now, this is the setup. I would love for Gage to go, but he does not sleep by himself.
Okay.
So, yeah, I know he's going to have his own bed. Know he's going to, have camp counselors. But I'm like, is he going to be able to adapt through that? And I'm thinking if they had a therapist that went along, then maybe he would better be, could better assist in that. Better assist himself if he had assistance.
So how is ABA therapy going to help with that situation?
Okay, again, when I spoke with the therapist at the swim, and he says he goes with his client all the time, and I'm saying this is a school setting, and they have the other therapists going. You know what I'm saying? Like, other therapists are going on this trip as well. Why not have the ABA therapist there as well for adaptation?
But why don't you teach him adaptation before he goes, not during or after the fact?
I have tried.
Because that has nothing, one has nothing to do with the other.
Okay.
ABA therapy is basically just behavioral analysis. All it does is adjust the behaviors of children or people who are doing it. That is it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all ABA therapy is. And the results of ABA therapy are going to depend on the therapist. It depends on the goals and depends on all these other different variables. Okay. It sounds to me like he needs more social skills and more of life skills than he does.
Sao nói buồn dữ trời, em không nói chuyện chị nữa
ABA
nha.
therapy. Now, how does he? When is this field trip supposed to happen?
In about 4 weeks.
All right. So from here to then, you have 4 weeks to adjust him to that. Now, put it together a game plan to have him do sleepovers in unfamiliar environments. How does he do at a hotel? He calls in the bed with you, or does he sleep in his own bed?
Girl, in the bed with me. Even if I get two beds, he'll start out over there. And then by the end of the night.
Let's start out with a goal of, all right, you want to go on this trip. Does he want to go?
I think so, but I think he has to understand that they're spending the night.
So this is where you got to explain to him that you're going to spend the night. And start out with the first week goal of he needs to sleep 3 nights in his own bed. Even if it's in his own bed in the same room. Even if it's on the floor next to the bed. He needs to sleep in his own sleep space. And put a plan together. What does he need to be able to sleep on his own space first? And what is his reasoning for wanting to sleep with you as opposed to sleeping in his own?
Sometimes he doesn't sleep with me. It's not always me because I do, like,
right.
Okay, last night.
I'm saying you in general, like, not alone.
Yeah, okay. But I'm just saying, so what I do is he's been falling asleep by himself, but it's because I've been home. I haven't been working. And so he will fall asleep by himself, but he has to, are you going to stay up late? Are you coming to bed? I'm like, Dave, I'll get there, And so allow him to fall asleep. Then I'll sleep on the chase in my room. Throughout the night, he get up and he is on the chase with me. I wait till he falls back to sleep. Then I get up and maybe I lay in the bed. Maybe an hour or 30 minutes go by, he gets up, he's in the bed. So wherever I move, it's like musical bed. I've tried the thing. I've tried the mattress next to the bed.
Do you have a set, established bedtime routine, first of all?
When I am home, yes. When I am not home, no.
All right. So,
I'll call and try to do the same thing. Like if I was there and say, hey, it's time for bed. Did you already take a shower? Did you brush your teeth? Pray prayers, like other things. But there's no reinforcement.
Right.
And I'm at work.
Okay. So the next question is you need to sit down and talk to him and find out what is bothering him. Because for him to get up and be there with you, that is attachment and abandonment issues. He's afraid of something to do with being alone. It's very common.
I don't think I need an ABA therapist.
For the most part, Gabe adapts to situations and things out of the norm. He doesn't have a lot of meltdowns. He regulates himself. Does he have behavioral issues? Does he have all these different little problems?
Sometimes he's starting to make noises in public, and they're like loud noises. Sometimes, the repetitiveness, talking to himself, and I'm asking him, like, "Are you okay? Are you trying to get my attention? Like, what's going on? You want to talk about it? Is something bothering you?" Like, I go through all the stage prompts of all the things.
Okay, the first thing you need to do is stop asking why or how and use the what question. What is causing this? Or what is, when you use the what answer or question, what is a logical answer? So it automatically will give him a response. When you ask the how or the why, those are emotional responses. Our brains do not work on emotional. Our brains do not understand emotional. So, but when he's doing those things, he's self-regulating himself. He's in an environment, he's calming himself, regulating, dealing with it. Now the question is, does that bother you or does that bother him?
And I want him to know it doesn't bother me. But again, when people don't want to be his friend or play with him because of things, and I'm, I know that because of those things. And it's like, well, Gage, your behavior. And then he'll laugh and be like, okay, yeah, you're right, Mom.
But is the children at school being educated on why he does that? Or is it something that is just assumed they understand it? Because children don't.
I've asked the teachers, do I need to come and do a thing? Do I need to come and do a educational?
Does Gage have friends in school?
Not really.
Now, is it because of his little quirks, or is it because he lacks the social skills to interact with them?
Both. From what the teachers have told me, because I had a second IEP meeting.
So then the quirks that he's got is irrelevant. He needs to learn social skills.
again, an ABA therapist would help with social skills.
A
behavior.
If that's what you.
Yeah. And the other one was a registered behavior, the RBT and the BACB or something.
You have people in the school that teach us social skills. But putting him in those situations and learning how to interact is crucial. The problem is a lot of times they're being taught with other kids with deficits. So they need to learn to adapt and learn how to interact with people who don't have deficits. That's the problem with a lot of the U.S. education systems. We put them all in the same room and we expect them to learn how to socialize when you have 4 kids who have social skills problems. And they're working with a teacher. But what are his social skills he's struggling with? Is it reciprocating conversation? Is it staying on focus on a topic? Is it just the greetings and interactions? There's different variables and different levels. Is he around adults more than he is around kids?
Yes, I would agree.
So does he have an issue talking with adults, or does he just have an issue with kids? So these are all the different criteria that need to be figured out to know where his actual communication skills issue is, to know how to help him to adjust and be able to overcome. Because a lot of kids who grow up around adults struggle making friends with kids their own age because they're so used to talking differently because they're around adults. How you talk with an adult is different than you talk to someone your own age, especially at that age. Another area would be, is he looking for friends with similar interests so that they can hang out and talk and do the same things, or is he just trying to make friends with everybody around him?
Also, I feel that if I guess now that I've talked it out with you, because we had to have a live therapy session here, I am doing all the things, but socially, I want more for him, but he also has to want it for himself. But
that was my next question.
Yeah, he does. He tells me all the time he wants friends.
We all want friends. We all want to feel wanted and needed and have that companionship. That's human nature. That is completely what everybody wants, for the most part. But that criteria needs to be narrowed down into different categories to figure out the best plan of attack to help him, is what I'm saying. Just because you want to make friends, that's great, but where are the issues of the weaknesses? Where are the strengths? Where, what categories is he, socializing in? And that's what we need to figure out the next level. An ABA therapist could work. It may not work. It just depends. There's different things for different areas. Speech therapy is another good avenue. You learn a lot of communication skills in speech to help with that socialization process.
Because now he has the word to go with the thought to be able to make the move, to make the motion. Okay.
That and the interactions, the correct, way of interacting with each other, the correct way of doing things. But it's, a lot of times it's social cues that aren't quite understood, or the interest thing. Some kids who struggle to make friends, and this is not just an autistic thing. A lot of kids in general struggle to make friends. A lot of kids spend way too much time on electronics in general, to where they don't know social cues. They don't know how to communicate outside of a electronic device. This is a big struggle since COVID and isolation.
So I guess those are things. When I'm traveling with him, I have him do the things instead of me actually doing the things or reading the where we're going and the signs and the things.
Yeah. But how much time does he actually spend around kids his own age?
He at school every day.
Besides school?
I take him places, but he still doesn't talk to kids. I take him to the park all the time.
But you're right there.
I suppose.
How a kid is when mommy's right there and how a kid is when mommy's not there are two different children.
I guess so.
Because one, they have that security blanket right there. They don't need to interact because they know that mom's right there with them.
Mhm.
But, is he in any activities that involve other kids? Is he in sports or clubs or things that involve other kids his own age? That would be the first step, is getting him involved in outside activities.
Mhm.
So that he's getting involved in things with kids his own age, in being in that environment. The best way to learn is just being in that environment.
I've been thinking about putting him back in karate, so maybe that's where we'll start there. And then I thought about putting him back on the baseball field. Like, he did pretty good when he played, but he just wasn't motivated. Like, I don't want. He started telling me, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to play.
Did he not want to play because he wasn't good at it?
No, he was good at it if he tried.
He just didn't like it. This is the other part, too, though. If you're doing things that he may not want to do, it may be harder for him to want to interact because he's forced into doing it. It's just that fine line of, you need to do this or I'm going to kick your butt, or doing things you enjoy. So, you walk that line of making him do things he don't want to do, but also letting him do things he wants to do. But the best way to start is literally just putting him in things that involve outside activities around kids his own age.
So that social piece of it, that's where we at. I'm glad we actually had this hash out because I'm thinking that it is behavioral things and it's really just socialization things.
Mm-hmm.
And
you gotta
also,
remember, we were in COVID. We were locked down for how long? We didn't socialize. During COVID, everybody was locked out. So you didn't go to school, you didn't socialize, and that happened at a pivotal moment in their developmental period. So we're still coming back from that. Yeah, that's the biggest misconception is a lot of times people believe it's a behavioral issue when it's literally a socialization issue. And you got to remember, too, he's at an awkward age. He's not quite a teenager yet. He's not quite a little kid. He's not a little kid anymore. It's trying to fit that line. But it sounds to me like you're looking for some super quick, easy fix. There isn't one.
Not like a fix, but yeah, it makes sense. Not a fix, but I'm thinking that help, more help.
Yeah. And there's lots of help out there. It's just where you got to figure out where he needs the help to get the right help for the issue. But then you're looking at it too, you're worried about him, interacting and, sticking out and the things he does. And if you've got this person following him around, being right there with him all the time, do you think that's going to help or hinder the situation?
Yeah, it's probably not going to be too much of a help. It's probably going to be one of those things.
Especially with no offense, but he's a boy. So, boys have a little bit harder than a girl. But it's got to be on him too. It's his willingness to want to do the different things and learn to adapt, learn the new learn how to do it. If he don't want to and he wants to take the easy way out, that's a whole different ball game. Because that's just a motivation factor. And that's a whole different conversation on adjusting what his values are and what he wants to do and how he's going to achieve them. And that is literally a reframing game. And getting him to really think about different things and adjusting himself. That's an internal fight, not an external fight. And then with that, we're getting into positive psychology. But as a parent, you always want what's best for your kid, but you can only do so much if they don't want to do it.
And I think that's probably where I probably was doing a lot. And he was just like, all right, I'm over it because this isn't what I want to do, but this is what she wants me to do, so I'll do it. But I'm not really, I don't want to, you know. And then I feel like I'm forcing him to do the things. Yeah.
And we do need to force our kids into uncomfortable situations because they need to learn to adapt and persevere because life is not going to be a cakewalk. And we have a whole generation of kids who can't hold a job down for that exact reason. Because we've raised a whole generation of children that graduate from college that can't think outside the box and self-motivate based on
All right, so in conclusion, I need you to continue to socialize him. And I don't necessarily need to I might just need to slow down on the things that I think that I can't really, that I'm not really changing. But just naturally, just letting things flow will help. So moral of today's story, allow things to flow and let it all work out.
Yeah. You got to just start asking questions and see what he wants to do and adjust and meet in the middle.
For sure.
We can't let our needs and our wants override theirs because you're not going to force them into things that they don't want to do.
Even academically.
Yep. I learned that one the hard way.
Maybe it's time for me to, maybe it is time for me to take a step back. I've still been thinking about the learning, the independent learning that you have your children set up on. I still was thinking about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they get speech, writing, math. They get help everywhere they need it. And it's an individualized, they get all the services you would in a brick and mortar school. It's just on the computer. Mm-hmm. And they get social skills. There's clubs they can join and things like that to interact with kids, just like anywhere else. All right. I need to go get some water before I start coughing again.
Today was informative. I thank you for the session. Bill me later.
All righty.
And as always, tune in for noon. I don't know what show it is today. Thank you for listening.
Yep. Have a good day. Have a good night. We'll see you back here at noon. Bye for now.
Love, juice.